What was life like before we sat down? Actually, before you even listened to the podcast, because I believe you discovered Infinite through the LSM podcast with Colin Moriarty and I on Sacred Symbols. And
Yes.
you reached out via our website, scheduled a call, and before all of that, what was the life like in the fitness game before all that?
Mm, okay, so life was pretty tedious, I would say, if I could describe it in one word. The reason I say that is because I was spending a lot of time focusing on my fitness. You know what I mean? Doing a lot of physical activity just to try to, try to keep up a healthy lifestyle. Um, I think that was what I can remember because I was
Mhm.
very diligent about my my workout routine and whatnot. But I found that I was struggling to try to keep up on a regular basis to maintain to maintain the the stability that I was in. I would say goal, but it wasn't really a goal because I was at that point I was more stagnant than anything
Mhm.
else.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was very. I found it very tedious because I found it hard to maintain my level of motivation to continue going through the motions on a regular basis, like I said. So there was that. Yeah, I think that sums it up for before.
Yeah, totally. And what was the moment that got you to like take the jump to like look into Infinite and even jump into the Academy program?
Well, honestly, uh, the I've always been curious, or I haven't kind of been deterred from trying new things.
Hmm.
So in regards to specifically trying out new things, trying this out, I was already open to the idea. Um, what what kind of drove me to go towards Infitness was the podcast that you had with Colin, because
Hmm.
at the time that was happening, or that you had the conversation with him,
Hmm.
I didn't even know this was a thing. Now, I me being open minded about it, I was like, well, let me see, because I've tried. Like I said, I had tried to do a lot of daily routines, doing exercise, trying to keep up with my health, trying to eat healthy, but I found that I was stagnating.
Hmm.
So when I saw the opportunity to come at it from a different perspective, I kind of was ready to jump at the chance, and that's kind of
Hmm.
what you brought to the table. From more of a, like you mentioned in the podcast, from more of a gamer perspective. And I
Hmm.
was like, well, at the very least, I'll see what I can learn, or what I can what I can grab from this, so that I can take it with me on my journey, and see where I go from there. It can't hurt to try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I went into it. So the conversation, I want to say, is what really pushed me to give this a shot, because I didn't know this wasn't even a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
that's it's funny you mentioned that because like I have these conversations and people are like fitness and gaming. What is that? Like are you talking
Hmm.
about like a Beat Saber or uh Dance Dance Revolution? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no. But it's really good to hear that from you. And from what I'm hearing is you were kind of like in the spot of being kind of like stagnant in your progress and you saw this opportunity that complements kind of like the gamer mind that you have along with the fitness goals that you have and you felt like hey this could be something I could learn new things from I could experience something different and this might be something that could break out of this kind of plateau that I'm in is that right?
Yeah, the biggest thing was like, hey, look, maybe you can put it into terms that I can understand, because I have tried to learn some things, and it's been mixed results in terms of success.
Mhm.
But uh, the way that you kind of went about it from more of a gaming perspective, it kind of helped me kind of understand some of the stuff that I was missing. So
Cool, cool. And
yeah.
let's actually dive straight into that. That's actually my next question is, uh, what was your experience like inside the academy? What did you like the most? What did you learn? And things like that.
I liked the daily challenges.
Mm.
The daily logs, trying to keep up with that. I want to say that was, my most motivating thing. Um, in regards to what I learned from the most was the actual campaign. You know what I mean? The stuff that had actual lessons to go through.
Hmm.
I found that was where the where I was leveling up my experience, or my like my knowledge base. You know what I mean? That I was definitely learning a couple of things. Some even basic things that I had just never even considered. I don't know if you recall when I started this meeting, I told you that my nutrition
Hmm.
level, my knowledge base in terms of nutrition was pretty low.
Yep.
So the way that it was kind of laid out in the campaign really helped me to understand. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so basically the structure and having the breakdown of all these different things really helped you in your experience.
For sure. Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, man. And what was like what did you feel like was missing prior to going through this experience that you experienced inside the academy that is now new? Because you mentioned the campaign, you mentioned these quests and the daily activities. Were these things that were missing prior to going into like a fitness program? Like, have you experienced anything like that before?
I want to say kind of, because I've always been motivated. I've always been motivated to, do my daily routine and whatnot. I kind of have I guess I have a more of an old school mentality where, and what I mean by that is like, hey, look, I try to not miss a day. You know what I mean? I try to not miss a day
Mm-hmm.
of like, my, my routine, because I feel like if I miss it, that's when I start to, kind of skip out on it. So
Hmm.
the way that I continued to constantly do it over the past few years, was that I would just, try to hit it as much as I could, so that I wouldn't get lazy.
Hmm.
So there was a certain level of routine, or like a guidance, but there wasn't a level of guidedness in terms of what you offered, like doing like, hey, look, this is a set date to do this. It was
Hmm.
just kind of me going and thinking, hey, look, I feel like I should work this out today. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was sorry, what was the question again?
No, no, you answered it. You answered it. Basically, you're sharing that you had some type of somewhat of a structure or a habit that you were kind of going about prior to this, but then once you went through the academy, you now had that detailed structure that kind of got you to where you are now. Is that right?
Yes, for sure.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, I
And
really benefited from the structure, because it helped me really, like, even when I didn't want to do something over these past few months, it kind of was like, okay, cool. So obviously I've already worked this area of my body. Let me focus on this area. So it really helped me kind of also get out of my comfort zone, because some of these exercises
awesome.
that were yeah, some of these exercises that that you included in the in like the program, I wasn't even familiar with, or um I wasn't I didn't think I would be able to do at that point during my journey. You know what I mean? I figured this
Mm-hmm.
was some of these exercises would be more difficult, or they would be done later down the line. So it was
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like I said, it helped me, kind of explore in this. And as I was going through it as well, it helped me kind of figure out how I should be exercising the muscles, because
Mm-hmm.
it really helped to understand like the posture and stuff, and I could really feel it as I was going through the exercises as well. Versus before, I was just more or less lifting weights and thinking, hey, look, this is what people do. This is going to get me results. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Totally, I totally know what you mean. Oh my God, yeah. And it seems like the progression in exercises, like in difficulty, that was something that was just right for you. Is that right?
yes,
Perfect.
yep. It wasn't too difficult. I want to say I was challenged throughout the whole thing. It was
Mm,
never easy. I was never zoned out. I was always focused because it really required a level of attention in order to like you mentioned during the video, to maximize the results. Hmm.
Awesome, man. That's that's so awesome, Alejandro. Let's get to the fun stuff. What results were you able to achieve in the academy in the 4 month journey?
So I wanna say I'm a little disappointed with the results. Not that there's anything wrong with the results, but
Hmm.
my original goal, just to kind of give you the beginning and the end.
Hmm.
I I started at a 213.
Hmm.
Right now I am at 194, so about 20 pounds. My original
Nice.
goal, yeah, yeah, yeah. My original goal though was to get to 160, because
Hmm.
that's how much the when I was doing the calculations for body fat percentage,
Hmm.
um, I landed around 160. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I was like, okay, well, if I can try to hit 160, around 160, then I'll be happy. Now, obviously, I didn't get to that.
Hmm.
Now, I'm not complaining on it. It's just been a little bit slower, and I think the reason that it's been slower is because of the actual weight exercises. Because while I haven't dropped in terms of complete weight, I have seen a clear definition to muscle. You know what I mean?
Ah,
So
that's
it's
right.
been a little bit slower in terms of losing the actual weight, but
Hmm.
in turn, I've seen a definition, an increase in definition to the muscles. So
Gotcha. So
yeah, yeah.
basically
So
the weight that you lost was not just body fat, but also muscle gain. And because you gain that kind of muscle gain as well in that definition, that had an effect on the total amount of weight that you were losing
yeah, I
throughout the
think it
experience.
offset the loss that I was having,
Gotcha.
if that
And
makes sense.
it does.
Yeah, go ahead.
It does. And
Hmm.
do you see like a are you happy with the definition and the your body composition now based on,
Yes.
these changes specifically?
Yes, for sure, I am happy. Um, I want to say that I also want to say that what's it called? As I was going through the journey,
Hmm.
um, I realized that I wasn't doing necessarily everything the way that I should, and
Hmm.
we can get into that a little bit later on if you want.
Hmm.
But as I started going through the different weeks and even months, I started to kind of pick things up that I wasn't necessarily aware of in the beginning of my journey, of these 4 months. Um, so I think there was also a slight offset in terms of when I started to really notice a difference, and that was when I actually started doing things properly that I wasn't doing the prior. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I'm happy with it, and I think I could actually continue going further. It's just that this is the 4 months. So
So that's actually really insightful. At what point in the academy did you feel like, okay, now I'm like gonna take this to the next level because now I understand like I need to show up and do XYZ. Like at what point was that, like 2 months in or?
so that was actually my the point that I noticed the difference was after month 2. So
Mm,
right into December is when I noticed it. And the reason I noticed it for sure, the first month actually, I had actually been calculating, or I had been using my Fitness Pal to
mm-hmm.
track the macros. But I this is a little embarrassing, but actually, I had forgot this. I didn't realize that I had to manually set my macros on my Fitness Pal. So every
Oh.
time that whole month, I was actually, it kept telling me that I had reached my protein goal. And I was like, okay, well, that means I'm good. I don't have to worry about it. But it was just at like the base level. So it hadn't actually
Mm,
adjusted it for me. And I didn't realize that until I was calculating my macros the second month, and I went in there and manually did it. Which is
mm.
why I want to say that I didn't notice it until the third month, because at that point, the first month was kind of lost in terms of nutrition, proper nutrition, because I was still eating properly and stuff. I just wasn't necessarily getting my protein goal.
You were
Now,
still learning too, like.
exactly, exactly. So there was a bit of a learning curve. The
Mhm.
second month is when I started actually looking at it, and adjusting everything, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, this is kind of what I need to do to make sure I meet my proteins, and I started looking at better, healthier meals that gave me more protein as opposed to carbs and fats.
Hmm.
And I started to see a difference towards the end of the month. Um, yeah, and then going further into like the month month 3 and 4 at this point, I want to say that it's been a slight slower journey
Hmm.
because I've been focusing on tweaking my nutrition
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
most because well the December is holidays, you know what I mean? So
Oh
it's a
yeah.
little bit hard to kind of keep up with it. And unfortunately, I can't say that I was the best at it with holidays and all. So
Hey,
I
me neither.
tried, but yeah, I tried, but I wasn't as successful as I had hoped to be.
Hmm.
So that kind of offset a little bit. But I was still looking at the foods and stuff that I found to be that gave me the most amount of protein naturally. And I really focused on that and tried to eliminate uh, any foods that gave me excess carbs. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, that I've kind of just been slowly going off of that. Um, yeah, so that's kind of been it.
Awesome. Awesome,
Hmm.
man. 20 pounds, muscle
20 pounds.
gain, composition, better understanding with nutrition. Like these are all awesome things, man. And just our rank one academy, man. Like that's the best part. Um,
Hmm.
and I guess my next question is like, how has this experience kind of changed your perspective on overcoming nutritional challenges, training challenges, even mindset challenges?
It's made it a lot more tolerable. What I mean by that is that it doesn't feel so overwhelming to
Mm,
overcome challenges. Because before, like I told you, it was very difficult to try to
mm-hmm,
maintain a daily routine or just a regular routine of trying to stay healthy because I was so reliant on physical activity to keep me where I was, you know what I mean, as opposed to regressing in terms of my fitness. um but now that I have what's it called, a better understanding of nutrition, it's helped kind of offset some of that stress that I feel when um tackling like more physical challenges,
mm-hmm.
mental challenges, and even nutritional challenges, because I know that I'm not just relying on one thing to kind of
Wow.
keep me going, like you mentioned throughout your course, you're like, hey, look, if for whatever reason you're not or you don't feel like doing some physical activities, for example, you
Hmm.
can rely on your nutrition to kind of pick up the slack for you on any day or whatever, you know what I mean? So you can kind of switch them back and forth, and I've found that that's helped me kind of maintain a level of sanity as I've gone through this
Mm,
journey. And like I said, it's made it a lot more manageable to go through. I'm not saying that it's easy or anything like that, because I
mhm,
still think it requires a level of what's the word, dedication to
mhm,
to maintain this uh streak and whatnot. But it makes it a lot less stressful to just have to do something on a continuous basis as opposed to
mm.
relying on other things.
Wow. You said that so well, and I think that's so powerful for you, right? Because now you can go into challenges from a warrior type mindset, knowing that you can overcome it. It's just a matter of, again, like being able to manage your own thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your just overall strategy to kind of overcome these challenges. And that's huge. That's a massive perspective shift, Alejandro. So that's gonna be really, really beneficial for you in the long term, man. Like, oh my gosh. And
Yeah, 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 for sure. I think it's I'm I mean, like, honestly, Walt, like I mean, the course has been great, you know what I mean? But I think I would have just been happy just learning about nutrition. I think I got my money's worth with nutrition alone, you know what I mean? Just increasing my understanding for nutrition has helped so much more, because I know that I can just carry it on to
wow.
yeah, yeah, I can just continue my journey and carry it on as well, over the years, you know what I mean? Not just for like a shorter process. So for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. And that actually led me to my next question is like what would happen if you didn't go through this experience? You just mentioned not having that kind of nutrition, that long-term nutritional knowledge that you're looking for. Is there anything else?
I mean, I think eventually it would have led to failure or to crashing uh in my journey. You know what I mean? It would have eventually led to something where I might have not necessarily made the healthiest decisions over a long term, as opposed to being armed with the knowledge to help me make better decisions in terms of my journey. I want to say that I think I would have learned some of these things over the long term. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I think I could have learned all this stuff over a long period of time through a lot more trial and error. So
Mm,
I think this was like a very good way for me to get everything in a very I want to say uh, like a focused manner. Yep.
got it. Got it. And
Hmm.
from what I'm hearing is it seems like nutrition was that number one thing, big takeaway for you. And of course, it's different from everyone's perspective based on your own particular needs, right? And strengths, weaknesses, so on and so forth. Just like any game, right? Like any build that you want to craft, right? You're gonna have strengths and weaknesses. I guess another question I want to ask you is like, would you recommend the Academy in Infinite to others, and why or why not?
No, I would. I think I would recommend it to other people. Um, I mean, the only caveat would be that they would have to be willing to, put in the work. That
Mm,
I would express that to them. It's like, hey, look, you get what you put out of it. You know what I mean? Or
mhm,
you get out of it what you put into it. In terms of effort, if you are dedicated to it, then I think you're gonna get good results. I'm not 100% sure how successful other people have been. Um, the way that I saw this as well, I want to add is that
mhm,
I think I was in a very particular point in my life where I had time to commit to this experience, you know, uh, fully. I know that not everybody has that level of that level of freedom,
mhm,
the level of free time to focus on doing meal planning. But I think that it's valuable to just even the information because even if people are making smaller tweaks over, a little bit over time,
mhm,
like meal planning or going to the gym more often. I think if they add all this up, I think they'll be able to get the results. So I think that would be my only thing to say that I wouldn't recommend it to anybody because
mhm.
I would have to be like, hey, look, um you have to have time to be able to commit to this. You know what I mean? That would
100%.
be my only caveat, but I would recommend it to people.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear, man. Awesome.
Hmm.
And I guess if you what would you say to somebody who's like on the fence? They're like, I'm looking at Infinite and I'm hesitant to make that jump. What would you say to somebody like that?
Oof, you're kind of putting me on the spot. Um, Honestly, I would say just go for it. If you're curious, I mean, you have more to lose from not trying it than from actually trying it. Even if it
Mm,
doesn't work out for you, I think the chances of it benefiting you outweigh the the chances of it not working out for you. I think you'll be able to take at least something out of it that you'll be able to carry forward. So, and like I said, me personally, I got my money's worth. Quite honestly, as soon as I got the the nutrition stuff, you know what I mean. The other stuff was extra, and it was greatly appreciated. But I got my money's worth just from that. You know what I mean?
wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That
Hmm.
is powerful, man. And is there anything else that you like to add to your experience that we didn't cover so far?
Man, not necessarily that. I No, I don't think so. I mean, like, no, it's been a journey. You know.